Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Tea and Tech. I'm very pleased to be joined by my good friend and entrepreneur, Miss Sarah Giblin.
That's me.
That's how you say your name? Is that how you say your name?
We're such good friends that he even knows how to say my name.
It's not Giblin?
It is, no, it's Giblin. It's like Goblin with an I.
And we're here to talk about the Riot Bag.
That's right. Riot, the company, Riot Bag.
It's an amazing bag, which is backwards.
That's right. So there are no zips on the outside. It's exactly the opposite way round to all other rucksacks. The Riot Bag is a backwards backpack. Or that's how I've come to explain it.
Backwards pack.
That's right. Oh, backwards pack. That's an entirely new word. I don't know whether anyone's ready for that. The backwards backpack, or just a reverse rucksack. So most rucksacks, if you turn that way a little bit, and you're wearing your rucksack, I could unzip your rucksack like that. That's how it tends to work.
Yep.
And I think that is a design fault with the conventional rucksack. So instead, I've revolved the rucksack so that there are no zips on the outside. Instead, they're all against your back. So I did a big survey at the beginning last year and said to 1,000 people, have you ever had anything stolen from your bag? Are you ever concerned about things being stolen from your bag? 6% of them had actually experienced theft, and yet 60% of them were concerned about the security of their belongings. So that shows me that there's a big gap between what's actually happening in terms of theft.
And just fear.
Yeah, so fear of theft, I think, is really high. Especially in London, that was where the majority of the commuters were who did the survey. So I think this peace of mind aspect is increasing stress, is just, causing probably a bit of animosity between strangers.
Yeah.
I am genuinely trying to make the world a better place by people feeling secure so that they just kind of think, oh, it's another person, rather than, it's a person.
Because you did a Kickstarter campaign, or have you done two?
I'm about to come up to my second Kickstarter campaign.
So we'll get into that in a bit, but I'm excited to see what you've done with that.
Right, so this time last year, all that had happened was that I'd prototyped the Riot Bag. I'd had this idea and I thought, do you know what, I'm actually going to go and do this. I need to make sure that I haven't made a horrible mistake here. Do not be scared. This was the original Riot Bag prototype. It has no zips on the outside and it opens at the back this way. So it's quite a Frankenstein prototype. It got better.
You wouldn't steal from that because you know there'd be nothing valuable in it.
Ah, that's the other way of looking at it. I might put something reasonable in here.
So you made it, you created this.
Actually, I worked with a prototyping company to work on these models, and we did all sorts of things, tried out lots of different things and took it apart, put it back together again. But essentially, if this had straps, you could put that on your back and it would work like a Riot Bag.
Can we see your most recent one?
Absolutely. So what has happened is that I made the first 1,000 production run, and that allowed, using Kickstarter, so over 1,000 amazing backers helped me to turn it from one prototype into a manufactured Riot Bag, and they are now using them all over the world. So the new Riot Bags, we've got a super slim one.
That's nice.
In black.
I think I prefer that one.
Yeah. Honestly,
that's lovely.
I think I'm actually really surprised. Black is my preference, but lots of people said anything but black, which is why I came out. Yeah, these are the urban colours I'm doing. So there's a super slim R10. That's what this is called, the Riot Bag R10. It's a 10-litre bag, and this is for people who are getting on long-haul flights, have checked in all their luggage, and just need, a laptop and their documents with them, or for, let's say, client-facing staff who might need their laptop and documents but very little else. So this is, almost non-existent on your bag.
It looks really smart.
I think so.
And you've got your logo.
That's right, Riot. I think you might know about this logo. This is my revolution in user thinking, but you can read on Facebook what else that means. And then the other one is the 15-litre bag, which has got the inset bottle holders and a bit more capacity. So this is a good day bag, or a weekend bag if you're going away. On Kickstarter, they're starting from £55. And that is for the earlier bags. And those will go right up to 75 if you arrive much later in the campaign.
I see, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Kickstarter, why? Why did you choose that?
I was in the position where I had this idea and I didn't have the money to make the first production run on my own. I'd invested in it by making a prototype, and that was quite expensive, by working with designers to get me so far. And once I had that prototype, I wanted to know two things. So I wanted to know, does everyone else in the world actually agree with me? Am I completely insane? And is there a way for me to get money so that I can actually make the first production run? And that is what's so brilliant about Kickstarter. It combines those two things. And notably, you are not left in debt as your first step into the business world.
I hadn't thought about that way. Yeah.
Because I could have gone to a bank and said, hello, could I please have £30,000? Then I would have been £30,000 in debt on my, congratulations. So you decided
to use other people's money to experiment on.
I decided to go straight to the customers who I eventually wanted to reach.
Nice.
And, they took a risk.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know who I was.
Well, but they only took a risk, presumably, based on your business plan and your own promotion of it. So you sold it to them before they paid you. Yeah. You sold the idea.
That's why I worked really hard to put up a video that showed who I am, what I can do, what I can't do, and put as much work as I could into the prototype so that they were willing to give me a chance. And they did, and 91 people backed it in 30 days last year. And that rate, so my goal was 29,000, and it actually raised 62,000.
Oh, wow. Stretch goals.
Which we didn't, I kept it very simple. One model, nothing extra.
Like that.
Can we do this?
Nice.
And as a consequence, the project actually ended successfully. It had problems, but yeah, pretty much everything was on time. From a business perspective, a bag like this makes a lot of sense. Probably even from an insurance company perspective.
You're
so
right.
if I were running a business and I had 10 salespeople who went around cities every day with my laptop, it's not just the technology you have in your bag, but also the data that technology accesses.
Way more valuable.
Absolutely. All of our devices and a laptop, all of the business information that you are accessing is just huge. So in terms of your security as a company, knowing that your employees are going out there and feeling safe, but they also are safer, I think, technically from a data perspective, it makes a lot of sense.
Now, to me, the biggest thing that this sort of is a technology is because you used Kickstarter. It's a new website, it's a new phenomenon. And it's only been, I don't even know, 5 years maybe?
Yeah.
And so it's a crazy way that you can just get funding without going into debt, as you say. So what was the biggest challenge you found with that? If you did it again, what would you do differently?
Well, I am going to do it again, and I've learned so much because
a lot of people are doing this now. So.
Yeah. So anyone who is who has a new idea and wants to use Kickstarter, there are a few things that are very challenging about it. Firstly, you've got to learn how to market your product. You've got to explain it to people in a way that they want to hear. So I know that people on Kickstarter are interested in technology. They are about user experience. They care about the user. Riot stands for revolution in user thinking. And so I'm speaking to the people who care about user experience and saying, the way that you approach tech, I want you to approach this product. Help me improve it every single time. Annoyingly, I can't send out updates and patches whenever things go wrong.
Are you a one-man band? Is it just you?
Yeah,
one-woman
just
band?
me. Absolutely. There's no one else here, but I am building a small network of companies who make this. But Kickstarter, you've got to learn how to market your product. You have to have as much customer service as you can muster in yourself to handle hundreds of questions every day, because anyone in the world can look at your Kickstarter campaign whilst it's live. 24 hours a day, you have to somehow sleep, eat, hopefully shower, and do all of that stuff whilst looking after people who are going to ask you the same questions again and again because you haven't explained your product properly.
Sure, yeah.
You learn how to run a business in those 30 days.
And social media management.
Absolutely. Everything on social media, you're going to ask your friends, you're going to ask anyone that you know to help you spread this. And that's the only way that you can make Kickstarter work for you in those 30 days. And I thought the 30-day Kickstarter campaign would be the tricky thing. But of course, once you get your funding, if it works, then you actually get into the world of global manufacture, freight, distribution.
I can't even fathom how you begin to do that. You have a product. You told me before we started filming this that you drew something. You have no CAD software experience. You drew a bag and like the specs and what you wanted.
Yeah.
Tell me just quickly about that process from drawing a picture because you didn't have any CAD skills to getting it manufactured and shipped back in China.
When I had the idea, I drew it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I worked with a prototyping company. We went straight to sewing machine. We went straight to materials because I just communicated as we are now, and we made the first version of it. Once I had that, we did take photos of the bag, put all of the measurements on it, and then that document went straight to China. I went to the factory and sat down with Daisy, my amazing counterpart in the factory in China, in Hoian in southern China, and she managed to get her sample room team to make it based on the drawings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's it.
Have you ever had a worry that they could steal your idea? China's sort of a bit famous for it.
So I actually think the factory themselves are not going to steal the idea. Their interest, as with any business, is to have repeat business with you as a client. It benefits them if I am making more bags, if people in my world are buying the bags and I'm coming back to them. I think instead, the reason that China is difficult is that if you went to my factory or if you saw my Riot bag and went to another factory, they're not going to do any background checks and say, does this really belong to you? So I actually think it's other people who will go to a factory in China and say, make this please, I need 1,000 of them or 10,000 of them. And honestly, my dealings with my factory is just seeing them as a very normal business, a medium-sized business who, they're just trying to run a normal business.
Be professional.
Yeah.
So going forward, what's the future for Riot Bag? What's next?
So the way Riot works is described in the name, revolution in user thinking. Anyone who gets a Riot Bag is involved in feedback. So they will use their Riot Bag. Then I'll invite you to take a survey and you tell me what you think of it. You tell me what technology you're carrying, because it's possible in the next few years that we're going to see a changing technologies and that our bags have got to move around those to actually fit. Maybe we won't use 15-inch laptops anymore. Maybe we'll go up, maybe we'll go down, maybe it's tablets, maybe if everyone moves to watches, I'm not going to have to create a phone holder, which is what everyone wants.
Is that right? Is that
people seem to want that, and I'm not. No offense, everyone, but I'm not going to put a phone holder on the outside of your bag. I've actually got a new solution for that, which I'll bring out next year. But essentially, I need the bag to revolve around the user, and the only way we'll do that is via data. So as the Riot Bag users grow in number, the data will grow, and you'll just update me every so often and say, this is what I'm carrying, this is what is wrong with the bag. Then every new version of the bag will be based on user data. So the users are building the future Riot Bags.
Well, I love that you were originally a user. You found a problem. You made a whole new one yourself, and now you're using you're using users to fix and make your one better.
And it's precisely because I'm
a cycle of user thinking.
Absolutely, that's or a revolution of user thinking. You might even say. Go to Facebook, look for Riot, RIUT. And you'll find everything about my Kickstarter campaign. You can go straight to Kickstarter and find the Riot Bag. It'll be the backwards backpack, the revolutionary Riot Bag on Kickstarter. And if you miss the Kickstarter campaign, what you can do instead is go to riot.co.uk, and that's where I will be selling the bags immediately after the Kickstarter campaign.
Do you plan to be in stores or just sell yourself for now?
This is a user revolution, so I am attempting to go direct to users, and actually I think now in 2015 more than ever that's possible.
I think that's great.
Cool.
Thank you for joining me on Tea and Tech, Sarah.
Thank you.
And go and get yourself a Riot Bag.
Indeed.